Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Artiso Designs. My name is Florence. In this video, I will be showing you how to take full body measurements accurately. If you are interested in seeing how I do that, please keep on watching. Thank you. I'm going to start by using a rope or little cloth to tie around the waist. This will be my horizontal balance. It will help or guide me in knowing where my measurements should start or end, making sure it is from the same line. You can use the belly button as a guide to know where to tie this. In this case, I'm using a bias tape because it is slim enough for this purpose. Make sure to tie it firmly so that it doesn't move, but not so tight that your client cannot breathe. Now I'm going to start by taking my bust circumference, which is the fullest part of the top half of the body. Make sure that your fingers aren't in the measuring tape to avoid adding to the measurement. Also, ensure that the measuring tape is not slanting or falling on any side. Make sure that it is as straight as possible both at the front and at the back. Adjust it if you must. Also, I like to hold the tape at the side because it gives me more firmness as opposed to holding it at the front to check the measurement. Next, I'll measure around the waist, which is the waist circumference. This is where our horizontal balance is. Make sure your rope or cloth and fingers are not adding to the measurement. So just measure around the waist and mark that. Then I'll measure the hip circumference. This is the fullest part of the lower half of the body. Also, make sure that you're holding the tape firmly, you're not dragging it up and down because when you do that, you're going to be adding to the measurement. So just take it firmly around the hip and um, make sure that your fingers aren't adding to the measurements. I'm going to measure my bust band next, which is from the highest point of the left bust or the right bust to the other side. I'm going to measure it. Essentially, people call this nipple to nipple measurement. So I'm going to measure from one side of the highest point to the other side. Next is the across chest or chest width measurement. So this is going to be taken from one side close to the top of the armpit line over the bust to the other side. So I'm just going to measure that and then measure the across back, which is essentially the same thing but at the back. So I'm just going to measure from one side of the armpit line all the way to the other side. Since there's no bust, it's just straight to the other side. Next, I'm going to measure my shoulder length, which is from the highest point of the neck to the end of the shoulder. It is typically 5 inches for the average person, but this measurement is important because some people have up to 6 inches, so it's important. Now I'm going to measure from the highest point of the neck to the bust point, which is the pointiest or the highest point of the bust, and then measure from there to the under bust where the under wire usually is for the bust radius, and then to where the horizontal balance line is, which is our half length or waist length. So also you can take the bust radius from the highest point of the bust all the way to the under bust. Now I'm going to measure from the waist to the hip measurement, which is from the horizontal balance of where your cloth is to the hip. It's usually 8 inches or 9 inches depending on how tall the person is. Then from the waist to the hip, I'm going to measure from the waist to the knee. Still holding that tape measurement. Then to the ankle, this is essentially for trousers and long fuller skirts. And then finally to the floor. Now I'm going to measure the top arm, which is the fullest part of the arm. I'm just going to take that measurement using two fingers inside the measuring tape for ease. I'm going to do that for the sleeve measurement essentially. So my two fingers will be inside measuring tape for ease. Then I'm going to measure around the elbow. Make sure that the person is tilting their elbow. I'm going to measure around the elbow, still using two fingers inside the measuring tape. I'm also going to measure the 3/4 circumference. This is for cufflinks and maybe if you want to make a short quarter sleeve. I'm just going to measure that too with the two fingers inside the measuring tape and do the same thing for around the wrist. So next I'm going to measure where the length should be. So from the end of the shoulder, I'll measure my short sleeves, which where I want it to be. I'm just going to measure that. Then measure to the elbow, still making sure that the hand is tilted. Measure to the 3/4 length, and then to the wrist. This is a bonus measurement. I don't usually take it except when a client says they like low waist skirts or trousers. So I'm going to measure about 2 inches below the horizontal balance and measure the waist around there. So in a case where I'm making a low waist skirt, I have an accurate measurement for the waist. It is important to jot down how many inches below the horizontal balance that you're using. Next, I'm going to measure my crotch length. This is for trousers. Make sure that your client is sitting on a flat surface and measure from the horizontal balance to the surface of the chair. For a jumpsuit, I'm going to measure from the neck at the front all the way around the crotch to the neck at the back. You can tell your client to hold the front for you or the measuring tape at the front for you. Make sure it's not too tight around the crotch so that there's ease for sitting and walking. And then I'm just going to use this measurement for jumpsuits essentially. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to my lovely sister for helping me out with this video. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you next time. Bye.